Hey everyone, how's it going? Solomon Christ here with another video all about human in the loop. In this video, we're going to be going over the human in the loop, nodes and methodologies within N8N and how to use them inside of your workflows. It's so important to have human in the loop. I'm telling you, every single day when you're seeing workflows and everyone is kind of like still not sure about their AI, human in the loop is going to help you out to really solidify your workflows and make workflows that your clients can trust, that you can trust, and that you can rely on, especially as you start to grow and expand your actual automations for production. So in this tutorial, what you're going to be seeing is you're going to be watching me as we build an entire calendar AI agent using Google Calendar. It's going to be incredible as you watch me step by step, thinking like a flowgrammer, making the mistakes that most people will make along the way, and thinking through some of the problem solving that is required when you're doing AI and automation. It's really important that you learn these skills because you're going to use this in the real world when you're building for clients or even for yourself. By the end of this training, you're going to have a full working human in the loop Google Calendar AI agent, which can create events, update events, and even delete events. So let's not waste time. Let's dive right in. All right. So here I am. I'm actually on a self-hosted version of N8N. And if I go into settings right now, as you can see here, you're going to see that the version I'm on is 1.106. I believe it was 1.105 that actually gave us a lot more options for human in the loop. But it's really, really important that you have at least that or higher, especially when you want to get access to some of these new nodes or new systems that are in place. Many times we're building for AI and automation, we're building incredible workflows, but when we're integrating AI systems with the LangChain node or with the AI node, what ends up happening is we just can't trust things, right? Like, for example, you might create an AI agent that literally is supposed to send emails, but I want to always confirm before I actually, send out an email or add or remove, or even delete an important calendar event. And so human in the loop systems will help us to do that. All right, so let's try and understand human in the loop a little bit better. So first and foremost, what's going to happen is you've got some workflow that a person is going to come in and they're going to call this workflow. All right, so it could be, something like an agent that takes care of sending out emails, or let's say a calendar, okay? So a human being, some form of human being is going to say, can you AI go and add an event to my calendar? So this will go into an N8N workflow where now that N8N workflow will, take action and it'll say, okay, I've got access to several tools such as creating an event in the calendar. I'll be able to find events in the calendar. I'll be able to update events in a calendar, and I could delete events in the calendar. Well, I get to, as an agent, AI agent, I get to choose how I'm going to do that. And this user has come in and they've requested a new event to be created. Well, it's going to go ahead and it's going to, choose whatever tools it needs to create that event. Once it's done, at this point here, if it just, says, okay, I'm going to now create this event, well, let's make sure that a human being approves this before I finalize it. So now it has to go back to the human being and say, okay, here's the event that I've got, that I'm about to put in. Do you approve it? If the human being approves it, it's got to come back and say, okay, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to actually create that event, all right, based on the human response. It could also be delete. So for example, if a human being comes in and says, okay, can you, remove my appointment with my dentist tomorrow, okay? And now the AI will go in and it'll say, okay, well, I found the event here. So it's searching, and then it's going to come back and it's going to say, okay, here's the event. I'm about to delete it. But before I delete it, let me go back to the human being and say, okay, I found the event. Is this the correct event that you want me to delete? And if the human being says yes, then it should come back into the AI. And then the AI will say, okay, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to delete this event. All right. So this is where human in the loop systems are very important. So we're going to actually create that exact workflow right now inside of N8N, where we're going to give an AI agent access to our Google Calendar and several of those same functions. And then we're going to be using the human in the loop functionality that's inside of N8N to actually build this entire flow. So let's actually go ahead and start doing that now. All right, so here we are right now inside of our N8N. And what we're going to do is we're going to start off with a simple, like chat message here. All right, so we're going to use the built-in chat message trigger. So let's do chat trigger. Now there's something specific in this chat trigger when we're going to actually add in human in the loop. So over here inside of add field, you're going to click on response mode. All right, this is important when you're doing human in the loop elements because we want to use a response node. All right, now that's only when you're actually doing human in the loop via the actual editor system. If you're going to be using, let's say, a webhook, you could use a webhook to do it, or you can also use, let's say, something like Telegram. So if I do a Telegram, trigger, so let's say over here, you got several different triggers here. So on message. Well, now that's a little bit different. It's still going to be coming back to Telegram anyways at the very end, right? If you actually set that up, or with a webhook, you've got a webhook response. But specifically, because we're actually using this within the actual N8N chat, we need to make sure that we've got a using response nodes option for the response mode. All right, so now that we have that there, let's go ahead and let's create an actual AI agent. So let's do AI agent. And what we're going to do now is we're going to make sure that this chat model here is an OpenAI one. So I'm just going to use a basic OpenAI chat system here. And then for tools now, we want to be able to add in our Google Calendar tools. Okay, so let's go ahead and click on tool, and we're going to type in Google, and we're going to look for Google Calendar here. So there it is, Google Calendar tool. And there's several different tools that we just described. So we're going to choose create. There's also delete. There's get many, update, and so on. All right, so we're going to give them access, or the AI access, to several of these. Now, I'm assuming that you already have your Google Calendar connected. If not, I would recommend just finding several other YouTube videos or watch one of my older ones to actually get the credentials in. Now, inside of your Google Calendar, what we want to do is we want to actually have an actual N8N calendar or something that's going to be AI connected. Now, of course, you can use your main calendars, but I actually set one up for N8N specifically. All right, so that's really helpful. And you can see here, I've actually got my own, calendar for N8N. Now, of course, if you're actually using a main calendar, you can use all these, but I use the N8N calendar for an additional layer of protection. That way it doesn't kind of interfere with my main calendars, but I'm going to show you how this works. So you select your calendar here from the list. And now for the start time, we're going to click on this button to let AI or the model choose the actual start time. We're also going to use the AI button for the end time as well. There's a few other things we need. So go ahead and click on add field, and we want to click on description. All right, and we're going to let AI choose that. We're going to also click on add field, and we're going to go down to summary. Same thing, let's let AI do that as well. Now, another one you may want to add is location. So you can also put that in, and same thing, put AI as well. So all of these will be defined by AI, the actual connected AI system. So now we've got that there, but it's a little bit, harder to understand this, especially from both the visual and for the AI. So what I like to do is I like to name this actual tool up here, and let's call this the Create Calendar Event Tool. All right, so there we go, and I'm going to hit enter. All right, so now we have that. Now we're going to do that again, but this time we're going to create the delete and the update calendar event tools. So let's go here, and once again, we're going to click on Google Calendar. All right, there it is. And we're going to now change this from create to update. All right, and then once again, choose the calendar. So event ID, we're going to be doing from AI again. Then we're going to add in the summary, once again from AI. We're going to add in the description, once again from AI. We're also going to add in the location, once again from AI. We also need to have the start and end time, so let's do that again. So start time, there it is from AI, and end time. So let's go over here, end. All right, so this way the AI can easily update this as well. And let's add a new title here. So instead of create calendar event tool, we're going to type in update calendar event tool. There we go. All right. Now we have to actually get these events. All right. So we're going to hit the plus button here on tool again. All right. There we go. And let's do Google Calendar. All right. There it is. We're now going to be getting many. All right. And it can get up to 50 here. Select the calendar. Okay. So I got my calendar. And then you've got after and before. All right, so set those up as AI. With the limit here, you can just keep it at 50. for now, but you could change that if you want in the future. And then let's change the name of this. So we're going to change this to Get Calendar Event Tool. So it's going to get many calendar events. All right, there we go. Hit enter. And finally, we want the delete calendar event. So let's do this here. Calendar, Google Calendar tool. All right, this is going to be delete. And then let's go over here. Okay, select your calendar. From here, click on the AI for event ID. And let's change the title. So this will be delete calendar event. So now we've got all of these different options here. And usually I like to put a think tool as well. It just gives the AI an opportunity to think through the process. Now, when we come back to this example here, the human being is going to say, hey, you know what? I need to create an event. It's going to go and it's going to attempt to create the event. When it does that, it's going to give us some information. Now, what we need to get out of here is we need to actually get the actual event ID. So over here, what we're going to do is we're actually going to click on define below. And let's go ahead and click on expression. And let's, tell this AI what to do. So role, and we'll just say, okay, you are a calendar assistant who is here to help the user create, update, delete, and retrieve events from a Google Calendar. Next, the tools. All right. You have available to you the following tools. So there they are: Get Calendar Event Tool, Update Calendar Event Tool, Create Calendar Event Tool, and Delete Calendar Event Tool. All right, so we want a JSON output of the actual calendar ID here. So the next thing is the action. So in this case here, you can only choose one of the 4 options above: Get, Update, Create, or Delete. I'm just going to put that there, and I'm going to put the word action there, all in lowercase. So now at least I have an idea of what's going to be happening. So let's go over all 4 of these here. Examples of all 4 requests. All right. So what's going to happen now is I've given several examples. One is for creating an event, where it's going to create the event. The second one is for updating an event. So it says here, for create event, you will call the create calendar event tool and create the event and return the event ID and action with user notes describing the event as follows. So we've got an event ID, which is the Google Calendar event ID. It's going to be a create action. And then the user notes are created event, title, starting at start time, on date, and ending at end time. For number 2, updating an event, you're going to call the get calendar tool event or event tool and take the user's information on how they want to update it, but do not update the event, and then return the event ID as follows. Event ID, action is update, user notes. The event title, starting at start time, on date, and ending at end time will be updated with the updates requested. And then for delete an event, you would actually say you will call the get calendar event tool, but do not delete the event, and return the event ID as follows. Event ID is going to be that, the action is delete, and then the user notes are the event title, starting at start time, on date, and ending at end time will be deleted. So these 3 actions here, the create one will automatically create the event. All right. But we don't want to do anything else with that yet. We just want to send that back to the user saying that it was created. But for updating and deleting an event, we want to get human in the loop for sure. So now these are the 3 options. And of course, you can expand it and do some more. So now I've got, this AI agent here. Specifically now, I need to get back some information. So let's just quickly test this out so we could see here. And we'll test all 3 because we need to create an actual switch statement or an if statement that is going to work based on the action output here that we've described. So action could be create, update, or delete, or none of those, right? So let's actually go ahead and add a switch statement here. And before we can actually, figure out what this is, let's just run this quickly. All right. And we just ran that there so that we can at least get the, variable here. So now we have to actually connect that up. So here's the user request. And now we can put this in here. So now let's run that again so that we can get an output here. So this time it was a little bit more detailed. It was asking, all this information, right? So as you can see here, it's asking for the title of the event, duration, or end time, description, and location of the event. That's because that's what the tool does, right? Okay, so we've put some basic, information that we can actually put for this actual request here. So let's go back here and run that again so we can get an output. All right, this time it created the actual event as you saw. Okay, so now we've actually got some details here. So as you can see here, the output is, it's good, but it's actually not in the right format. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go back here and we're gonna click on require specific output format. Now, when you do that, you're gonna see here something called an output parser. So go ahead and hit the plus button there. And now you can do structured output parser here. So now I can actually put in the details here. So I can actually use the same type of output here. So we're gonna call this event, right? Then we've got over here, action, and then we're gonna put here, same thing. And then we want user notes, and then user notes. There we go. So now we should have that come out, a lot more clearly. So let's go ahead and try that again. There it is, event ID, action, and what it did. Okay, so now we've actually got that information. The next thing is, now that we've got our switch statement, now we can actually grab and drag this in. Now we know what the action is, and there's several different items. So we've got create as one. Now we're going to add another one here. So action, this is going to be update, add another one, action, and delete, and then delete. And then finally, if action doesn't equal any of those, so if it's other, there you go. All right, so we've come this far. So now what we need to do is add in the human in the loop items. So to do that, as long as you have a trigger already, there is a list of human in the loop elements. So I'm going to hit the plus button here. And if you come down here, you're going to see human in the loop. So go ahead and let's click on that. And in this case, we've got several different ways that we can actually get the human to respond. What we're going to be doing in this case here is, because we're in the editor, we're going to be responding to chat. However, you could have done this via Gmail, you could have done this via Teams or Slack, and in many of these other places, it actually shows a really cool UI button that allows you to approve or decline. So we're going to actually start off with respond to chat, because that's what we're using here for this human in the loop example. And now over here, we need to connect this up. So let's go ahead and let's connect up the create. There we go. And now we're going to take in our user notes, because the AI already auto-generated that. And specifically, we're also going to define this here. So I like to put in a couple of lines. I'm just going to put, do you approve or decline this event? All right. And so it's either going to be yes or no, or approve or decline. So now, based on that output, okay, we're just going to do a simple if statement here. And so let's test this out so that we actually get that data. So let's go ahead and run this again. Okay, so as you can see, now we've got the human in the loop portion. Do you approve or decline this event? And it says created AI generated event starting at 1 p.m. tomorrow on 2023-11/25. Okay, so we already know that that's an error there. Okay, so we're going to investigate that in just a bit. So do you approve or decline? Yes, there you go. So I hit a Y. Now it's come here. So now we want to know what the chat input is. So in this case here, if it's true, then we can actually now go ahead and keep it. There's really nothing else to do. But if it's false, we want to delete that calendar entry. So what we're going to do is now over here in the false, we're going to add in Google Calendar. All right, there it is. And we're going to delete an event. So what we're going to do here is we have to choose a calendar and then the event ID. So for now, I'm just going to put a temporary number inside of there, even though that's incorrect. Let's rerun this again so we actually get the calendar ID. So when I go to the JSON view here and I click on the various nodes, in the switch node, which was several nodes back, we've got our event ID. So that's what we need to put here. So I'm going to change this to expression, click and drag the event ID. So now if I decline that, it's going to delete the actual event. In this case here, we do have an error. As you can see, it's 2023. So I'm going to actually put inside of this AI a note. And then I'm going to put here, think deeply using the think tool and make sure that the event is greater than, and then I'm going to put inside of here, $now. So now at least we know that it's always going to be in the future, not in the past. All right. So that way it's been set up there. And then, create, the event. So there we go. We got that there. All right. So now if I go back to Google Calendar here and I actually type in, created with AI. So let's do this here, AI generated event, because we got to find out where those old ones are. They just put that in. Yeah, I picked up a few of these. Look at these in 2023. So I got to delete all of these here. Okay, so now let's rerun this again. So there we go. Run it again. All right. So now it's gone. It's created an event. It's going through the chat model there. It's thought through it. And now we've got this message here. So this is starting, well, 1 p.m. 2024, 0605. That is completely wrong. So it should not have done that. All right. So as we could see here, that's not the right thing. I'm going to put no on this here. So now if I hit enter, it has to, go in and say, okay, I saw a no, and it deleted that event. So as you can see, it's no longer there. And so that's what it is. We've now got a proper human in the loop system that is approving and declining events, especially if they're wrong. So now I'm going to say again, okay, create an event called AI Meetup, and it starts at 9 a.m. and runs until 7 p.m. I don't know. It's a long meeting, let's say. All right. So there we go. So now it's going to go and take more of that information and create an event that has more details. So there we go. It says it's created this, AI meetup for N8N. So I'm going to take a look here. It says it's on the September 5th, right? So look at that. It actually generated that. So now we want to set up these other items here. So as you can see here, I've got update, delete, and other. So other is basically there was an error of some kind. I don't want that event to be created at all. All right. So I'm going to actually respond in a different way here. So I'm going to say here, when I hit plus, human in the loop. And in this case here, I'm going to respond to chat. Now, I'm not going to be waiting for the user response. So apologies, your request could not be processed. We're not waiting for the user in this case here. And actually, because I don't know what exactly happened, I don't want to just delete something just because I've got the ID. I just want to say, okay, there was an error. So now the user can kind of like figure that out. So that's another response. And usually we want to name these things here, but in this case here, I'm just doing a tutorial, so that's fine. So for update, what we're going to do here is when the event is going to be updated, and delete is another one. For update, what we want to do is we want to actually swing back to another AI. All right. So what we're going to do here for update specifically is I'm going to take this entire AI workflow and I'm going to now hit Control D on my keyboard to duplicate it. In this case here now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this update functionality and I'm going to connect it over to this AI here. But this time I'm going to create a different AI agent system here. Specifically, I'm going to say the same thing. So you have available to you getting the calendar event tool and updating the calendar event. So we're not going to do create or delete. And then if you're missing any of the required information, you can put in all of that there. Output, you will output the following information. And in this case here, it's going to be update. So action is update. All right. And you are a calendar assistant who is there to help the user update their calendar. So now what we're going to do is when we get an update request to the event, you'll call the get calendar event tool, take the user's information on how they want to update it, and do the update. And return the event ID as follows: Google Calendar event, update the event, title has been updated. So now user request will be there, and it's getting the user request in JSON. All right. But in this case here, we want to be able to go back here, and this is the chat input right here. Make sure that that is the same. There we go. See, so that's a bit different. So sometimes you'll get the actual item that you need several nodes back, right? So that's why you want to put that information there. Now we want to remove the tools that we're not using here. So get a calendar, update calendar, that's fine. Remove the delete, remove the create. Structured output we want to keep. And there we go. So the rest of that's fine. And so after the update is done, we want to respond to the user. So now human in the loop, respond to chat. So your update request has been completed. All right. And we're not waiting for a user reply. There we go. That's it. So now let's actually, try and update this here. So can you update my event that is tomorrow, the AI meetup for N8N? I need to make the start time 12 p.m. instead. All right. So there we go. So now it's going to go through. It's going to look for updates. All right, so specifically, as you can see here, if I actually like move this back here, it's trying to do the update, but it's now come here. This time it went to update, and it's saying that the update has been, done successfully. So it did do the update, but the problem was I put the human in the loop portion in the wrong spot. It should have been right here. So let's go ahead and let's actually delete that and delete that. And now let's take this here and put this here. All right. And from here now, we need to get a respond to chat here. So specifically, we have to put inside of here, update requested. So we're going to put inside of here. Let's hit save. Let's test this out. Can you update the AI meetup tomorrow to start at 10 a.m.? All right, so there we go. It's going inside of there. It's going to get the event. It's going to now come out here, and it's coming to the update. And as we can see, I have to make sure that it's the update that is connected. So let me do that there. Do you approve this message? Yes or no? All right, so do you approve this? There we go. All right, so now we're going to hit save here, and we're going to do this again. So can you update the AI meetup? All right, so there we go. And we should get it to go into the update flow here, as you can see. All right, there we go. It went to the update. So now it's waiting. It said it could not find an event named AI meetup for N8N scheduled for tomorrow. Please check the event details. So already we could see that this is incorrect. I'm just going to put the letter N there. All right. And so now if it was a yes, then we would actually, go in here. So now I'm going to put an if statement here. All right, there we go. And it's similar to the other one there. So if statement. And so if the chat input is equal to yes, okay, then it'll actually, do the actual thing. So in this case here, it was false. So if it was yes, then I would actually run this next AI agent command where it'll actually do the update. Otherwise, it does nothing. All right, so there we go. So now let's do this again. All right, there we go. It should return an update here, and there it is, human in the loop. It says the event titled AI Meetup for N8N September 5th has been updated to start at 10 a.m. at this time. So let's go here, and the problem was it already did that. So it should not be doing that. So as you can see, like there is some, challenges along the way that you're going to be going through as you're working through this. Right? And we don't want the AI to just go ahead and update the event. So here's what we can do. If you notice that it's actually doing things that you don't want it to do, just remove these items. So I'm going to remove the tool so it can't do an update. It can't do a delete. It can do. So the creation is fine, but it does not have access to the update or the other one. So let's remove those tools here. So I'm going to remove update, and I'm going to remove delete. All right, so there we go. So now it can't do any of those. So now even if it tries, we don't have to worry. It's not going to be able to actually, delete any of those things or change that. So now I'm going to do this again. All right, so I'm going to copy paste this message. And you're watching me go through the process. This is important because you're going to be going through the same things when you're creating this for clients. All right, so there we go. I want it to start at 11 a.m. Okay, so now I want it to start at 11 a.m. It's over here. It's at 10 a.m. There we go. So I'm going to hit enter now. And we're going to see the AI do its thing. It's getting the information. It went to update. Now it says the event it currently starts there at 10 a.m. will be updated to start at 11 a.m. as requested. Now, do I approve this? And I'm going to put yes. Now it's going to go to the AI. It's going to get the event. It's updating the event there, and it's done. Now it's correctly doing that. So now you can see how human in the loop works. All right, so now together we have built an entire human in the loop system that can successfully do my Google Calendar stuff, and I don't have to worry about this making a mistake or the AI having any issues over time or just the AI getting full control. Now I'm a part of the process, and that is so important, especially when you're building mission critical AIs or AI automations. It is so important to have human in the loop. All right, so there we go. There's a little bit of a tutorial on human in the loop and how it works and why it's so important. You want to know that you could trust the outputs, and that's where human in the loop really comes in. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial today. And once again, please make sure you subscribe, join my school community, and join the N8N community as well. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.